I remember watching my cousin play Fable on his then brand new Xbox and thinking quite highly of it. A game where every choice you make affects the world around you, offering a completely unique experience to every player? Well, unfortunately Dark Souls wasn't to come out for several years, so in the meantime those who weren't clued in on what games were actually out there were stuck with Fable. Anyone who's read up on it will know that Peter Molyneux built up a hell of a lot of expectation for this game which it simply couldn't deliver. Lionhead then put out the expansion pack, Fable The Lost Chapters, which is the version I'll be reviewing. It's also the version you'll get if you buy Fable Anniversary, which I'm guessing a lot of you are thinking of doing but are watching this to make sure it's worth it before you fork out your hard-earned money. Let's start with the story. You start off as a young boy from a small village who needs to buy a present for his sister. This is essentially the tutorial for the moral choice aspect of the game. As you might expect, things go to shit really quickly and our hero's dad is murdered by bandits. He's then rescued by Maze, a powerful wizard who takes him to the Heroes Guild where he has a grueling upbringing training in the arts of sword fighting, archery and magic. He befriends a girl named Whisper who becomes his lifelong rival and friend. After graduation our hero becomes, well, a hero. The term hero has a rather broad definition in this world because the guild pretty much doesn't care what you do as long as you abide by the rules while you're on their grounds. That's right. You can kill as many innocent bystanders as you want, just don't be a dick in front of the guildmaster's face. You complete a bunch of quests, most of which will advance the story, and it soon transpires that our hero and his family are part of an ancient bloodline and that their deaths will activate a sword that will make the wielder the most powerful schmuck in all of Albion. Let me tell you, I've completed the game multiple times, and even in the absolute evil endings where you do get the sword, it doesn't do all that much. So it turns out the overseer of our hero's pain was none other than Jack of Blades, an evil-looking dick who has his mother locked up in a maximum security prison. Our hero breaks into the prison only to end up locked in there for an entire year and end up fighting the Kraken for some reason. Once our hero inevitably breaks out of prison and adjusts to normal life again, it is revealed that Maze is a traitor working for Jack. Our hero has to defeat Maze, and bloody hell is it difficult. I got my arse handed to me the first time, so pack a few health potions for that one. Jack then activates these things called focus sights, which aren't really mentioned before this point. And our hero is forced to team up with Thunder, Whisper's brother, who, well, I'll talk about him in a second. Eventually our hero corners Jack in the Chamber of Fate, and it's there that he defeats him and has to make his final choice. Cast the sword into the vortex, or kill his own sister. Who survived the bandit attack, by the way, and wound up being raised by bandits. Yeah, story. Here's the first problem I have with this game. No matter how good or evil you've been, this one choice determines your ultimate moral status in the original game. You could have been a complete saint throughout, but strike her down and you become the devil himself. Conversely, if you decided to go down the evil route, casting the sword into the vortex will make you holier than the freaking Pope, thus ruining all your hard work. And it is hard work, because the system of awarding you with good and evil morality points is completely broken. How come killing a wasp earns me this many good points, but slaughtering an innocent bystander can earn me as few as 1 evil point? To make matters worse, every time I kill an enemy that might be deemed evil, which you have to do a lot by the way, I get another merit badge on my little scout sash. So much for your flawless moral choice system, game. Anyway, in the expansion, Jack reincarnates himself as a dragon and you have to travel to a new location, the Northern Wastes, to defeat him. That's it. Took me like an hour. Also, if you choose not to kill your sister and lost the Sword of Aeons the first time round, you get a chance to earn an equally powerful sword. Whoop-de-fucking-do. The final moral choice is probably the most pathetic in the entire game. You have Jack's mask and you have to choose whether to cast it into the Hellfire to prevent Jack from ever returning, or put the mask on and presumably become Jack's new body. Yeah, so that's the story. Now, remember earlier when I talked about Whisper's brother Thunder? He pops up from time to time and he's a total prick, by the way. Here's the issue I have with him, and it pretty much sums up the issue I have with this game as a whole. At one point our hero teams up with Whisper to fight in the arena, and after defeating everything they can throw at him, he's made to fight Whisper to the death for the prize. One is then given the choice to either kill Whisper or spare her. Turns out it doesn't matter which you choose, because you never see her again either way, except for a little cutscene if you happen upon it where she tells you that she's leaving the guild for a faraway land. Problem is, I quite liked Whisper as a character, but she's replaced with this stuck-up Briar Rose woman. The less I say about her, the better. How does this relate to Thunder, I hear you ask? It doesn't! It doesn't make a fucking shred of difference whether you kill his sister or not. He's far too busy worrying about more important things like what colour breastplate to wear. Yep, if you choose to kill Whisper, he just gives you a slap on the wrist for it and never brings it up again. He's much more concerned with insulting your taste in hats. Yeah, the single biggest addition Lost Chapters brings to the experience is a brothel. Not because it means you can have sex, you could already do that. It's the fact that you can earn my single favourite item of clothing, the pimp hat. I never took this thing off. I even wore it at my inauguration as the Mayor of Bowerston. And didn't wear anything else. Call me a big girl if you want, but I was disappointed with the lack of different clothing Albion had to offer. Lost Chapters doesn't really add much, but it does add the much needed hooded apprentice outfit which the original Fable was sorely lacking. I was always jealous of those ponces in their hoods not letting me be part of their clubs, fucking wankers. If you want more nitpicking, here's a list. You can't be a girl. Moral choices mean jack shit. The game world is too small. There are needless loading screens between every area. NPCs have as much personality as a barrel of boiled figs. The game has about 3 people voice the entire cast. Moral choices mean jack shit. Some parts of the terrain take so long to render that you can actually walk through an unfinished set piece. And last but not least, moral choices mean jack shit. Ugh! How can a game that was advertised as the best game ever have so much wrong with it? But on the plus side, the music is nice, the game gives you the choice of food or potions to regain health, some of the spells are pretty awesome, the controls are intuitive, and last but not least, the game has a sense of humour. Just take a bit of time to admire some of the finer details in this game. The humorous gravestones, the reactions from people if you perform certain gestures, the fact that you can walk around and have people refer to you as arseface. These little details are what I like about Molyneux and his team, and it's what I instantly think of when someone mentions Fable. Let me summarise quickly. Fable gets a 55 from me, safely above average and definitely replayable. But if you're the type who likes to make your own adventure, this might not be your game. Try Minecraft, or playing outside. Don't get me wrong, Lost Chapters is definitely the definitive version of the game, but it's blatantly obvious that this was what the creators originally tried to make but didn't have time to finish. For example, if you go into Grey House, you discover that Lady Grey, Thunder's love interest, murdered her sister in order to become mayor, but only in Lost Chapters do you get the option to expose her for the murderer she is. Bottom line, I like Fable, but it's far from perfect, so I'll let you judge for yourself whether you want to spend your money on something that doesn't deliver on its promises. Probably one of my favourite things about it when compared with other fantasy games I played is that it doesn't make you pick a class and stick with it. You are in charge of your abilities, so if you want to be a mercenary, you can hack and slash to your heart's content. If you want to be an archer, then fire away, and if you want to be a will user, you can pour all your experience into that. Alternatively, if you want to be a jack of all trades, you can grind to your heart's content, but you do age every time you level up, so expect to come out looking like a battle-hardened ballsack.